I'm Cordelia Kate, and if you are tuning in for the first time, welcome. This is the Marketing Strategy Show. Quick question. How many amazing things have happened in your business this month or this week that you meant to share and you didn't? A client DM that made your day, or a testimonial that was really great, or maybe an email that came in, or an opportunity, or maybe you went to a networking event and you had a great time. These little moments throughout the day that happen, and then they often make us go, oh, I should put that on LinkedIn, or I should share that on Instagram. And we go, oh no, how do I word this? What should I say? How can I put it in a way that sounds like I'm not bragging? How can I make it sound valuable to people? Why does anyone care? And before you know it, you've gone, oh, I've got 100 things that need doing that are so much more important than this. And then the weeks go by and you realize that there's been so many great achievements happening in your business and you're not really documenting any of them. You watch someone else in your industry doing something similar to you and they're showing all these amazing things, and you remind yourself like, oh my God, I need to be doing that. I need to be sharing these things. I need to be documenting all the wins that I'm having because it builds me authority. It shows that I'm achieving great things. It shows that I'm good with my clients. Like, I need to do that. Now, I've had an idea to solve this. And so I'm going to build this idea out on this video because what I wanted was an episode where I taught you how to use Claude Cowork projects and how you can build a brain inside them that's going to really help you create content that is very driven by your opinions and your voice and is very you. And the idea is that we have a method for capturing a screenshot. So let's say a client messages you and says, oh my God, thank you so much for our session yesterday. I feel so good today. I really appreciate that. And you're like, oh, that is such a lovely message. And you want to share that somewhere. But it's just like going to take thinking time for you to actually write out what the caption would be to go with that post and post it. So what we're going to do is we're going to build a system where you screenshot something and you put it somewhere with a voice ramble of why that moment, that screenshot is significant. And then the machine that we build here on this video is going to turn it into a piece of content ready for you to schedule on social media. So I am going to use Claude Cowork for this. If you prefer ChatGPT, you can do this in, what are they called? Their custom GPTs is probably the best way to do it on ChatGPT. So the other thing that we're going to use is Airtable, but you could just use Google Sheets or any other spreadsheet type of software will be fine. But we're going to use those two tools. And what I love is that Airtable and Claude work so nicely together. So this just may unlock for you a load of other use cases where you think, oh my God, I could get these two working together in so many different ways. So we have 3 tabs in Claude. We have chat, Cowork, and code. And we are going to do this inside Cowork. Now, the reason why we're going to do it inside Cowork is because Cowork has just got a little bit more freedom. It's got the ability to do things that chat doesn't. And we want it to work with Airtable and drop things in and be connected to Airtable. And Cowork is just a really good place to do that. Be aware that inside Cowork, every time you start a new chat, we are going to start a new task. And that opens up a new conversation with Cowork. This is what's called a sandbox. And what I can tell you is it doesn't have memory of all the other conversations in Cowork like chat does. It only has the context that you give it, which is a blessing and a curse in some cases. So you can give it a folder on your computer and you can give it context in terms of things you want it to know. And then it will have that context of what is going on. The way you can get Cowork to have memory of other things it's doing across the board, across multiple chats, is you set up a project. So we're going to create a new project, and this project is going to be called the Moment Catcher. And this project is going to be essentially the folder in where all of our moment catching activities are going to live. So we're going to do everything inside this project. So the instructions, you are my on the go moment catcher, which means you are responsible for helping me document the wins and achievements and noteworthy moments in my day-to-day business life, and I turn them into authority building pieces of content we can post on social media with specific purpose to build trust with audience. We are the trusted solution to their problem. Okay, so that is just basically what the project is about on the whole, like bird's eye view. Now we've got memory turned on, which is good. We're going to hit create. And then this project, the moment catcher, is now going to be what we're going to do everything inside Claude on for this specific thing that we're building. So a couple of things then. We want to have some knowledge files. What I mean by that is that on your computer, we want to have a folder that contains lots of references and information about who you are, what your business is, who your ideal client is, and all these details. Because what that's going to do is it's going to give context about your business, and that is really important. And I really recommend you create a set of knowledge files that you can program into multiple different places. I have knowledge files that I use for blog writing, for content writing, for management of clients' pipelines, and the same set of knowledge files I'm using across the board for lots of different things. So it's worth investing a bit of time into creating knowledge files. And normally what you can do is go into an AI that knows you really well and create those knowledge files from there, in the sense that you're going to be able to ask it, tell me about my ideal client, and it already knows all the context, so you don't have to recreate the wheel, essentially. So I'm going to choose a folder on my computer, and the folder is Cordelia's Brain Knowledge Files. And inside this folder, you can see I've got an overview of my companies, brand positioning and voice, like what my brand is all about, what my voice sounds like. I do have a video on my YouTube channel that is called How to Get AI to Write Like You. I will hook you into that in the description of this video. That video is really great because it shows you how to create your voice profile that you can then train AI on how to talk like you and put that into the knowledge files so AI knows how to write like you. Audience profile, so who is your ideal client? And also, I always have like my current priorities and my capacity. APs is my affiliate products. CK Tech Stack, that's all the tech I use. And MSS transcripts is a really cool one. So this means marketing strategy show transcripts. And it's just a TXT file that contains shitloads of transcripts of me talking here on this show. It is all the show transcripts all put into this one file. Now, what that does is it enables this project to have a full understanding of who I am and what I'm about. And it can dip in and out of these to get information so that it doesn't have any blank gaps. A couple of things that AI does, which is really annoying. Number one, it fills knowledge gaps with fluffy crap, basically. So if you ever find it producing general waffly crap, it's probably because it doesn't have enough information in order to be specific. Another thing that it does is it skips ahead and it does 3 jobs at once. It'll create a document on the first iteration with the final draft without creating a structure and then filling out that structure with content and then producing a document in 3 different stages. And so you want to basically teach it how to slow down and break everything into stages. So we are going to do that. I'm going to show you how I prompt and how I set up Claude to do something really well, rather than just rely on it to know what to do. And then it produces some waffly crap and is quite vague because it's tried to do everything in one go. So we've got knowledge files. Knowledge files are in situ. It also has this folder called the moment catcher. It's created that folder. And what's going to happen is any outputs or anything that it creates for this project are going to be stored in the moment catcher folder. So this will become populated with documents later on if needed on the go. It's a very local thing. Like if you opened up Claude on another computer, you wouldn't have access to this Cowork project because it lives locally on your computer. So you would have to move the files to the new computer or store the files in the cloud and then rebuild the project on a different computer. So that is the only kind of real limitation that there is with this. So on Airtable, it's free. It's brilliant and it's free up to a certain amount, and of AI credits are included in Airtable, which is great. I'm going to create a new workspace. I'm going to call the workspace Moment Catcher. Okay. And then I'm going to create a table. I'm going to build an app on my own. They call it an app. It's basically a spreadsheet that you can create an interface for, and we are going to create a form with ours. It always gives you these fields when you start a new Airtable, but let's just build from scratch. I'm going to delete all of them. Let's just start blank. It's easier to get your head around what's going on. The first thing we have here is name. I'm going to change that to date, and we're going to change this field type to date and hit save. The next thing we're going to have in here, the long text, and this long text we're going to call significance. Then we're going to create an attachment field, and we're going to call it screenshot, and then we're going to have a status. Oh yeah, single select. We're going to call it status. And the options on there are going to be new, post, created, posted. Simple as that. And then the next thing that we're going to create is a form. So I want this to be really easy for you to capture things on the go. And if you have to open Airtable and fill in a spreadsheet every time you have something that happens on the go, that's not going to be very easy, is it? That's just going to be like the most annoying way to build a neural pathway ever to exist. My thought process is that if we have a form, click on build it yourself, and we're going to go with form name. We're going to call it the moment catcher. Create the form, and we're going to let's get rid of that from the form. I actually think we should get rid of the date. It's just going to be an extra thing to do, isn't it? We just want the significance and the screenshot, and then publish. Only users with base access. I'm going to copy this link. And because I am recording this on my phone, I have a video I'm going to open and play for you to show you how we save this to our phone. So I called it the moment log. I've changed it. It's now called the moment catcher. So ignore that. So you're going to then put the link that you get from Airtable into Google Chrome on your phone, and then hit this button here, and then click on view more. If you've got an iPhone, I don't know how you do this on Android, but click on view more and then add it to your home screen. And then you can call it the moment catcher or the moment log or whatever you want to call it. What's going to happen then is that is going to now live on your home screen as the moment log. And so when you click on it, that's going to open, and you can put, by hitting on this voice symbol down here at the bottom that transcribes, you could just record yourself explaining why it's significant. And then if you click on that attachment button, then we want to go to photo library and then just basically add something in from your photo library. And then you can just drop that screenshot in there and explain why that is significant. So that's how you would do it on your phone. You've got this form then saved to your phone, and you can just fill it in as you go. Now, there is another really complicated way of doing this, which is that you could totally set up WhatsApp on make.com and have it so that you WhatsApp yourself an image and a ramble about why the screenshot you've taken is significant. And then what that would do is enable you to capture that and on the go via WhatsApp. So what's going to happen then? So if we put the screenshot in here, so if I get, here's a screenshot I found earlier, drop that here. And then in the significance of this screenshot is that it was the first time I have been asked if I want an affiliate partnership off the back of my YouTube channel. I've had a big company called SEMrush reach out and offer affiliate partnership with their software, which is really exciting because they're a big company. It definitely looks legit. And it goes to show, even with less than 700 subscribers, what you can achieve on YouTube when you have a live show. And so the significance is it's a testament to the success so far of the marketing strategy show, which I want to demonstrate that the value in that is that if you show up regularly over and over and over again, it will enable you to start getting opportunities coming your way as you start building an audience. Right. Now, I just rambled on the spot live about the significance of that. I'm sure that there is more that I could say. But the point is, I'm busy, I'm on the go, I haven't got time to really think about it. I just want to capture that moment and then get on with my day. Happy days. What we'll see now is that is now sitting inside Airtable. We've got the significance and we've got the screenshot sitting there. I'm also going to rename this base the moment catcher. So we've got that there, and then we've got status. A couple of other things we're going to need then is, but we are going to get Claude to take this and turn it into a post. And then once it's done that, we want it to create the actual copy, the social media post. So we want it to create that and then drop that in here so that when we come to schedule, we can get the screenshot from here and we can get the post from there and it's sorted. I'm going to get rid of these. Let's grab the link to this Airtable and drop it in here and say, can you extract the Airtable base ID and table ID from this link, please? Right, we're going to open a scheduled task and I'm going to put the prompt in there. So coming back into the moment capture, then we're going to go scheduled task and we're just going to set it up as a scheduled task from here. Now we've got the Airtable. So I like to use XML tags, and XML tags look like this as the first XML tag. You are my social media manager. It's your job to turn my collection of notable business related moments that have happened throughout my day and turn them into social media posts that demonstrate my authority, credibility, and ability in solving the problem that I help my clients with. You will check Airtable, new moments that have been captured, and turn those specific moments into posts, and then another XML tag. Now, the reason why we use XML tags with Claude is because it was trained on XML tags. What it does is it separates out some things from other things. So for instance, let's say you're putting an example of how you want it to behave in the prompt. You don't want to accidentally muddy the lines between the example and then the instructions. So it just enables you to keep clear separated lines between what is what. So we've got the role. The next thing we're going to have is the trigger. You will be triggered manually. And when you run, your task is to check for new moments in Airtable that have the status new. If there are none, you will assume there is no task for you to do today and you will stop trigger. The next thing we need is context. Now, it has access to the files, but it's not very clear what those files are just by their titles. We want to just basically explain what those knowledge files are and what it's going to give them. Yeah, we want to explain what they are so that it can know whether it should dip into it or not. Especially the MSS transcripts, right? The MSS transcripts is one that's like a huge file and it needs to know what it is. Otherwise, it's going to go and try and read it all and then go, oh, I think this is a file of transcripts. I now am going to work out why that is helpful for me and what I can do with those transcripts. You have access to knowledge files, and here is how I want you to use them. So MSS transcripts, this is the transcript of me talking on video about my area of expertise, and it includes all my human nuance, my opinions, stances, etc. You will need these to get an understanding of how to write from my perspective. We're going to call this the moment capture. Description: you take captured moments that I've shared with you throughout my day and turn them into social media posts. Let's hit save. Let's go and check what the other knowledge files are. We've got, let's just screenshot that. So let's edit this. MSS transcripts, we've done. The next one is brand positioning. So you understand the flavor and personality of my brand. Audience profile. So when you write these posts, you know who you are speaking to. Current priorities and capacity. So you have current things to tie the posts you're writing to if necessary, if it improves quality, context, story, etc. Connection marketing overviews, so you understand what this business is about. So that is the context. So let's close context. The next thing we are going to do is task. You are going to take a screenshot and a dictated ramble about why this screenshot is significant to my role / business / audience, and turn this into a social media post that I can share with my followers. I will be also sharing the screenshot so you can refer to it in the caption you are writing. Okay, so look, every good post has a hook, and we often refer to that, which is a relate statement, where you want to relate to the audience and hook them in by relating to them. And then we've got the sort of bridge. So the bridge then ties the hook to the demonstrate part, the body of the text, where you are sharing the significance of this post. Why do we want to do it like that? Because we could just say, oh, I got a win. And that is great. We can do that. But it would be even better if we can find a way of relating to the audience. So it'd be relate statement is relate to audience, or share something personal, vulnerable, or something that will hook the reader in to want to know what this is about. We don't just want to pop on socials and be like, oh, this is what Sarah said about working with me. We want to be like, Sarah was experiencing a really hard time with XYZ. She tried everything. And this message that I received from her today, after witnessing how hard things have been for her, just lit me up and made me so excited. After 4 weeks of us implementing the XYZ method, she has started to be able to sleep at night, and she feels so much better in herself, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just so excited for her. Sarah, keep crushing it. I'm really proud of you. So that is like an indirect testimonial. We're not going to social media to be like, I've just had one of my clients reach out and tell me that they are having a great response to this process we put in place as a direct result of us working together. Thank you so much for the testimonial, Sarah, and for letting me share this on social media. Because what you've done is accidentally made it all about you, and at the same time, really fucking boring. Right? And no one cares. Like, just unless they are in a buying position where they're on the fence and they're like, I really want to work with you. I'm just not 100%. I want to see some proof. I want to see some evidence. If they're in that space, looking at that kind of testimonial was helpful, because it's going to enable them to make a buying decision. But most of the people on your social media accounts are at the top of the funnel, which means they're not making a buying decision just now. What you need to do with them is demonstrate why you are a really good solution to their problem. And you do that by sharing value, sharing tips, sharing insight. And so if you can turn your testimonial into something that's relating, into something that people can see, like, oh, Sarah had that issue. I've got that issue. Oh, I'm interested. I want to read more about this. What is this method? Rather than it just being a blatant plug for your product, it's more positioned in a way that can give value. Bridge, so we don't have any knee jerks, and transition to copy smoothly from relating to giving the point of this post. And then demonstrate the body of the text where you're sharing the significance of this moment in a way that gives insight, value, hope, or something to the ideal reader, rather than just a shameless plug. Cool. So we can actually give this a new XML tag. You can have XML tags inside XML tags. This could be copywriting structure. And then because we finished the copywriting structure, we can put that there. And then, so you're going to take a screenshot. You're going to review, just in case it thinks it needs to actually screenshot something. You're going to review a screenshot and a dictated ramble about why this screenshot is significant to my role, business, audience, and turn this into a social media post that I can share with my followers. I will be also sharing the screenshot on social media with the post you write, so you can refer to it in the caption you're writing. It's just overkill with clarity, but just better to be clearer than vaguer in terms of like getting a good result. I want you to write a post to accompany the screenshot based on the structure above and everything you know about me and my audience, and then task. I think that's, and then the only other thing we've got is inputs, which I think it already knows. Let's hit save. We're going to come back to the previous chat that we started, and we've got to go to projects and go to the moment capture. And here we go, extract Airtable and IDs. Here we go, base ID, table ID. And let's go back to the scheduled task. Where is it? Moment capture, scheduled task, edit that. Inputs, Airtable, base ID and table ID. I'm also going to put here, you looking for a moment with the status new, and you will find the ramble and screenshot there in that record. Okay, probably overkill information. Okay, I'm going to say that's it for now, because this is different to just your usual chat with Claude or ChatGPT, right? What we're doing is we're creating a prompt that always stays the same. The thing that changes is the variables. So what we need to do is either to get the best possible output, we either have to now tweak the prompt or we have to tweak the input to get a better output. And so the only way we can test it is by running it and seeing what it does. So let's come into Airtable and let's come to the status and change that to new. I wonder if we can actually in this field have like a default option to new. Oh no, default option, new, save. And that means that any new records that are added will just automatically be new. Oh yeah, output. We didn't tell it what we want it to do output wise. We need to do that. Let's quickly do that. I'm going to put that between task and inputs. Oh, and voice as well would be a good one. We've got that already in the knowledge files, don't we? So that's fine. Okay, output. I want you to then output plain text only, no commentary on your process into, I'm going to say no commentary on your process or preamble, into Airtable under the field in the same record that you are working in, and change the status to, let's find out what that status is called. Right, so the status that we created, the new one is going to be post created, and then the post is going to, the field we want it to post into is that one. So the field, social media post, same record that you're working in, and change the status to post created. Save. Oh, I'm going to hit run. Let's see. So another thing for you to know about this is you could schedule this to happen every day. So every morning, 8 a.m. or something along those lines, and it will basically just start running at that time, the time being the trigger for the task. You could do it once a week. You could do it a couple of times a week. Depends how many moments you decide to catch. You know, if you're not catching very many, you might do it once a week. If you're catching loads, then, you know, once a day would be great. Now, one thing to note is that if you are doing this from a laptop, when your laptop is closed or asleep, or the same with a computer, when your computer screensaver is on or your computer is closed or asleep, then the project is not the scheduled task is not going to run. It will basically skip it or error, or it will come back and try and do it later. So you do need to come and check in to see if it's happened. For this reason, actually, I've bought a Mac Mini that I have on my desk connected to my second screen that just has all of my scheduled tasks in so that it can run throughout the night. And what that means is if I get all my scheduled tasks throughout the night, I'm not using up the quota in my 5-hour work window or 4-hour work window, whatever Claude gives you. I'm not using up my quota in the day with a load of scheduled tasks. I'm using it up in the night when I'm not using it anyway. So I schedule it all for like 2 a.m. because I'm asleep at 2 a.m. And I know that it's not going to affect how much Clauding I can do in the day because it's happening in the night. So just a little tip for you there. So we're going to have a look at Airtable. Okay, it's not in here yet. So what's going on in Claude? It's probably still working. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's still running. What's it doing? Okay, so it's waiting for us. Claude wants to use update records for the table for, allow for all scheduled runs. So every time you start a new schedule, it usually has approvals that you give. And then once you've approved it once, for all subsequent scheduled runs, it will do it without you. So the first time, like, you don't want to set it up for 2:00 in the morning for the first time and then come back and be like, where the hell is my thing? Because you'll probably find it's because you haven't approved it. Okay, post has been written. Here we go. It's posted it in here. Look, post created. Okay. Now, just so you know, the screenshot that I gave it was an email that I received offering me an affiliate partnership on the YouTube channel. So they would give me free access to their software and then pay me commissions if I speak about their software on the show. To be honest, I'm not entirely sure it is going to be a good fit for you guys. So I don't think I would do it, but we'll see maybe. I don't have a massive YouTube channel. Less than 700 subscribers, no viral videos, no millions of views, just me showing up every single week with a live show talking about marketing strategy because it's what I know and it's what I care about. And then this landed in my inbox. SEMrush, one of the biggest names in digital marketing software, reaching out to me, asking if I want an affiliate partnership. Now, look, I'm not sharing this to brag. I'm sharing this because I think a lot of people are sat there going, what's the point in putting out content when nobody's watching? And I get it. I really do. I've had episodes where I could count the live viewers on one hand. I've questioned whether I was worth the effort more times than I'd like to admit. But here's what I've learned. You don't need a big audience. You need a consistent one. You need to keep showing up, keep talking about your thing, keep building the body of work that proves you know what what you're talking about, because the right people are watching, even when it feels like nobody is. Companies like SEMrush aren't reaching out because I've got huge numbers. They're reaching out because I've shown up consistently every week for long enough that it's clear that I'm not going anywhere. That's what consistency does. It builds something that numbers alone never tell you about. It builds trust, credibility, and apparently partnership offers from companies you actually respect. So if you're putting out content and it feels like you're shouting into the void, keep going. The people that matter are paying attention, and some of them might just slide into your inbox whilst an opportunity you didn't see coming. I feel a little bit emotional reading that because that was fucking brilliant. That was brilliant. And honestly, it's because it's got the knowledge files, it's got the voice prompt, it's got the context about who I am, that it was able to write like that. And once you've got those things down, it's going to change the game for you, my friend, in terms of getting AI to write really well for you. So I hope that has been helpful. Let me know how you get on. And the only bit that we're missing next, beyond actually getting that post written, is posting it to social media. And there are a few things that you need to know. So number one, that you can edit and do whatever you want with it. It might need trimming down if it's too long. If it's longer than 2,200 characters, it might be too long for Instagram. So we need to check and do a character count and just make sure. If that's the case, we need to include that in the prompt. We need to go back to the prompt and be like, this is going out on Instagram, so it needs to be less than 2,200 characters. Yeah. The second thing is call to action. That's something that we haven't got here. I actually really love that we don't have a call to action, because it means that it's pure value without asking for anything. And that can be really, really good. And that's authority building, sharing that you got an affiliate partnership. But the really cool thing is the way we've positioned it. There's a real message, there's real value in there for our audience. That we're likely to get people actually reading that. And, that's obviously going to build credibility and authority off the back of it too. So 2 birds, 1 stone. But my point is that it's a really lovely positioning. We don't have a call to action. You can add one in if you want to. You don't have to, though. You could just leave it as pure value. It's not there to drive traffic. It's there to build authority and credibility. That's the purpose of it. So it doesn't actually need a call to action. You could then turn that into an email broadcast to go out as well. Like, it's worthy of that, I would say. And, you can do other things with it. So you just, in terms of the packaging of the copy, I'd say it's raw right now. You just need to add a CTA if you want one. And if it's an email, you need a subject line, you need a from Cordelia at the bottom. And you might want to ask people to DM you or click a link or, whatever it is with your call to action. So just packaging is the next thing to think about. Packaging, as I've come into the AI world, has become a term that I've learned. And it just means packaging is just it's like the final iteration of something, how you wrap it up and put a bow on it, basically. And then it's completely finished. So just that last little bit to do. And then it's ready to go out. And you can either get that going out automatically with an automated poster, or just set yourself a few minutes a week to just go and grab it, have a read, make any tweaks and go again. Now, one thing that I just want to share is that you might find after you've done a few of them that you have a bit of a pattern of, they're always wording it in this way, or they're always doing it in that way. And that it just means you need to go back to the prompt and tweak the prompt. Personally, I'm quite happy with what we created today. I think it's good enough to go. And I'm really happy with that. And if you want me to give you access to my knowledge files, so you can have a read of them and use them to create your own, you want access to the exact prompt that we just created so you can copy and paste it, and you want access to the step-by-step process laid out in a PDF, then all you need to do is come into the strategy lab. In there, I am going to be sharing with you the resources that you need to implement this strategy really simply, step by step. It'll all be in there in a little guide. So you don't have to worry about coming back to this video or coming back to your notes later when you're squeezing in making this happen. You can just grab the PDF, drop it into Claude, be like, Claude, doing this strategy, help me with this. And it'll just make it 100 times easier for you. You can jump in on a free trial, by the way, just to access today's and as many of them as you want. And then if you don't want to hang around, you can leave. Or if you want to hang around, it's like $4 a month. Actually implement this. Download today. So jump in there and it'll be ready soon. I hope that has been helpful. And my name's Cordelia Kate. This has been the Marketing Strategy Show. I hope you found it helpful, and I'll see you in another video. Bye.